Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Marianne and I am preparing here now to do a full moon reading in the sign of Scorpio, happening on the 12th of May 2025. The exact time depends on where you live on the globe. Usually the energy is open for around, it's very active for around 3 days. But it lingers, it will still be effective for at least a fortnight until there is a shift towards the next new moon. Okay, so Scorpio, right? You see I have dark colors here. Black tourmaline, protective stone. I have 2 of them here. I also have a, well, it's a kind of glittery golden stone. I'm not quite aware of what it's called. I'm not that big of a stone person. I go with the energy, not so much with the names of them. I don't really care about that. Okay, so I get a big vibe of prey, like prey is on the move. There's a time for this, right? There's a time for everything, I guess. But what I get for this full moon is something about a completion of prey. It's like, well, there is a choice, right? If you belong to well, this is a ground belief in me, and you may not like it, and so on. Maybe this is not your channel, but I believe that our bodies, through the evolution that we have been through all these millions of years back, originally come from a specific maybe masculine or feminine core, right? If you have a masculine core, you may find it easier to be in this world because it's masculine ruled. If you are a feminine core, and what I call more prey, you could say predator and prey, or feminine is life-giving, right? Where masculine can be more destructive. Not always, of course, right? Again, it's just, again, feminine energy is not always life-giving, right? Just take it how it resonates for you. I'm highlighting something that I feel like is coming up for this full moon. Full moon is about completion usually, or a potential of completion. If you belong to a so-called feminine core group, I feel that this full moon can be a challenge in the sense that it may be asking you to make a decision, right? There's a choice for the feminine group, I feel like. Those who feel most challenged in this world. We have all, well, at least in the Western world, we have gone to the same school as everybody else. but we may be more empathic, right? We are maybe not that, we don't like loud sounds. The feminine realm is more quiet, right? It's not like that. It's not so noisy. It's not so governed. It's more fluid. It moves where there is least obstacle, right? It's not so. The masculine society poses I want to say a threat to a feminine core, because it's not designed for femininity. It's not designed for feminine energy to feel good. It's designed for masculine energy to feel good. Everything about it is designed to offer masculine energy a competitive environment, leadership potential, growth potential, evolution potential, becoming a leader of the pack, of family or otherwise. It offers a variety of possibilities for masculine cause. And I guess that those who feel well in this environment, they will succeed here. And those who may not feel so well here, they may have a limited amount of success and then perhaps a breakdown. Because originally we're not designed to participate in a world like this. It's not healthy for us. There's nothing in that world that actually benefits feminine energy. An example of this would be, so you may recognize it, is you say you have a young girl or a young boy who likes to dance and sing, and they do it out of spontaneity. They do it out of just joy of heart. They do it out of just a creative spirit. If such person is discovered and the masculine, you could say, business world takes over, they may promote this young person through a lot of channels and give them big concerts and design their clothes and give them a high salary, and there's status and fame and all this stuff to be achieved. But what usually happens is that the sparkle of this young, bright new dancer or singer or something like that, it ends up in this masculine controlled world with managers and producers and I don't know what. It kills the sparkle, right? Many of these entertainers, it's seen again and again, they end up with alcohol problems, drug use. They can't cope with it kills them, right? It kills the original version, the one that was discovered and considered special. It's like when the masculine environment gets in touch with this unique new bright light, it devours it, or it changes it. The influence of this environment, the constant touring and the plan and schedule and hairdress, and you have to dance in this way and music videos and so on. All this stuff kills the original beauty or spark of this entertainer. Do you get my point? This is what can happen. This is what can happen if you take a feminine core with a creative expression and put it into the masculine world. When such energy is put into a masculine world, it has two choices. It can try to stay true to itself and be in pain, or it will change more and more, or try to change more and more into a masculine core. This is very painful. It's very demanding and very painful, and probably won't succeed. I feel like the prey is on the move. So it means that feminine energy is affected, It's affected so much so. It can go along for quite a long time, but to a certain point it can no longer play along. It can no longer try to be part of it. As we see it with the entertainers, at a certain point they have a breakdown. At a certain point their addictions are shown to the world, or they have a strange behavior or something. Even they die, like they die of an overdose or something like that. It cannot sustain itself in that environment. It's way too demanding and intrusive and pushy and loud and big and so on, right? That is not what originally the spark of this little dancer or singer was. Just the joy of singing. The joy of singing that's the reason. It's not to become an idol. It's not to become famous. They sing out of joy. They sing out of happiness. They sing out of just feeling great. But when you put this initiative into a different world, you kill it, right? It becomes too massive, greedy, right? It wants more and more and more of this. And they have a harder time, like, giving it. Like, they have a harder time being so sparkly. So what do I want to say? I want to say that I feel like this Scorpio full moon is like a completion of some kind of pressure. And I think both sides can feel it. Like the feminine cause inside, my channel is called The Vibes Inside, right? So what is your core, right? If you are feminine inside, the real core, the original spark in you is feminine. I feel like this full moon could be like an initiative to leave something. It's not safe anymore. But there is something particular, I feel like. It's like they don't care anymore. Like, that's what I feel like. It's like the prey doesn't care. It doesn't care if it's killed. It doesn't care if it survives. It doesn't care anymore. It's leaving. It's retrieving. We see some of this in the movement with, let's say, something like tiny houses, living off grid. Like tiny houses and living off grid is like wanting to not be dependent on something big, like the big supply of, let's say, mainstream food and gas and electricity and mortgage and all this stuff, like not wanting to be too impacted by what society has built as this normalcy of living. So tiny houses and living off grid with solar panels and gathering rainwater and things like that. That is an expression, I feel like, of someone who is done with the big system. And even if it doesn't work for them, they are leaving even if it won't work for them. Even if they lose all their money, even if they end up dead in the gutter, they don't care. Like things can become so bad and then you just have to leave. That's like a civil war, right? Civil war comes when conditions have become so terrible that it doesn't matter if you stay or you walk away or you fight or whatever. You will probably be killed, so what? Or sacrificed or something. So what? I'm sacrificed anyway. I get this song calling "Killing Me Softly," right? Or slowly, killing me slowly, right? Something like, it doesn't matter if I stay, it will kill me anyway, right? So I can just as well just lay everything on the table. I can just as well say, fuck it all, sorry, my language, and then leave, I may not have any money, I may not have, but well, it cannot be worse, right? The 4B condition in Korea, where women are writing off men, they don't want to be married, they don't want to have children. Like they don't want to have be living with men and so on. This is also a praise statement, right? Or a statement that not wanting to have children is a big thing for women, I think, especially feminine women, like who are very feminine, because motherhood is a part of the feminine trait. Writing off offspring, this is big. Like this is if feminine energy is writing off offspring, it means that they have considered that the world that they are putting offspring into is not safe. So therefore they won't have them. They won't have the children. It's suicide, right? They have already considered this is suicide. What will my children be offered when they are here? It is a big thing. Like when women say no to having children, well, there can be many discussions or reasons. But if one of the reasons is that the world is not safe, that this is too big of a risk, if my children are feminine at the core, they are in trouble, big trouble. It's like being haunted. Scorpio energy is known to be dark and mysterious, occult, ghost-like. It has this type of that. I have this black on the table. It's difficult to see, right? It's dark. Like when you walk in the forest at night, you can't see much unless you have the flashlight. In daytime, it's not the same. You can see everything. The scorpionic realm is very dark. It can be difficult to feel or to see where you're supposed to go, or where there is safety. Where is you could say this Scorpio full moon could also be like like a crash, right? Like the feeling of hitting rock bottom of something. I can't do this anymore. I can't, or there is no way out for me. I feel trapped. I feel, like there's nothing that can help me now. Something like that. And therefore, I'm doing this, right? Okay, so this is like the feminine side. The masculine side, I have this feeling of, I've said before, scorpionic energy for me can be when it's on the war experience, or it's aggressive. It can be quite devouring. It has this tendency of like eating, or it encompasses the prey, right? And then it kind of it's all over in that way. Like the little entertainer, singer in this massive mainstream music world, right? It like this little singer voice comes into this giant business, and there are so many who want something and tells them something and directs them and makes plans for them, engage them, and so on, right? It's demanding. It wants and wants and wants. It's hungry, right? And this little voice, this little singer, is trying to figure out how to, do this, right? Maybe they are, to a certain point, happy that people like them. They are happy that they think that they have potential, that they can become a big singer, and they get drawn in by the potential fame and money and status and all this stuff. Becoming known, becoming loved, becoming adored. But when you are in there, it can be difficult to withdraw in time. You get kind of caught in it. You're caught in this web of like a constant demand for new, constant demand for new concerts, new performance. And now I hear this dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Oh, right? This just keep dancing, right? Keep dancing, keep entertaining, keep singing. But it can be a dark world, right? A world where for the little singer, it can be difficult to see all the facets of this world. All these intentions, all these demands. What is, like, how do I keep myself safe here, right? You may feel this in a work environment. You may feel it in let's say you are at school and you are overworked with exam projects or something like that, right? You feel that like something is closing in on you, right? It becomes almost strangling, right? That kind of feeling. In the masculine realm, I'm not quite sure. I think that some people with masculine core may feel that this is a quite good moon, right? That this feels like they have the upper hand. Like this is like some kind of competition, right? Feminine energy has no ambition with competition. Like that is an entirely masculine trait. Feminine energy has no ambition. It's a masculine trait. It's like speaking two different languages. I got, like a reference to, well, you can say the crucifixion of Jesus, right? Because Jesus, on one hand, is like he stands there, he has no weapons. He's not aggressive, he's not violent, and still he was considered a threat and put on the crucifix, having a terrible like death with a lot of pain and suffering. There is something about a scapegoat and a tyrant in this full moon, the white little lamb and the big wolf, something like that, and what is the white little lamb supposed to do, right? It's born a white little lamb. It has the qualities of a white little lamb. It will never grow the qualities of a predator wolf with sharp teeth. No matter how much it tries, it will always be a cover-up, right? It's a many of these, the white little lamb, it's a plant eater, right? Where predators, they can be meat eaters. There is something about if there for some reason has been a hunt, I want to say this hunt may come to an end. Or there could be a potential in this full moon of this end. In tarot, the Scorpio energy is the death card. Death card doesn't mean that people are necessarily falling over and dying, but it means that something dies. Something dies. So let's say the fear in the prey. Normally the prey will run if the wolf is there, right? Because it's scared of dying, it's scared of being caught. I have this feeling that now they don't run. Like this feeling of prey saying no, right? I don't care if you kill me. And I have this like in a bigger scale. I have this like even let's say that Earth is no longer fertile. That all nature is killed, and a society has grown bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more machines and so on, right? Like we see in some movies, right? This is something that and more nature is being killed, right? More and more is being sucked out of the planet, that kind of scenario. It's a bit like the plants or the natural world would say, well, I don't care anymore. if that is again, you have two choices. Either you fight them, right? Either you fight for your right to live, or you stand your right. Because when you start fighting, it's on the masculine terms. Fighting means competition. It means there is an opposition, and it means that there is you and us, and we fight each other because of our convictions and so on. It's a masculine trait to fight. Okay. If you don't fight, and you stay in the feminine energy, you will not fight like Jesus, right? You will not fight. You will just stand there. Not offer any kind of threat. Will the masculine energy still devour, or will they be left alone? And I have the feeling that the prey part, or the feminine part, is saying, I don't care. Because I'm dead anyway. That is kind of the scenario I have here. It's a bit like the feminine energy has a choice, right? They can start living off grid. They can move out of a house. They can quit their job. Move away. And again, I talk about feminine energy. It doesn't mean that it's women, right? It just means that everyone who feels feminine at their core we have a harder time living in the, let's say, the Western society, with the push of the you could say the matrix world. And they will leave. Like I have the feeling of they are leaving. Like they're leaving. I've talked about for a while ago. I said that mother energy is leaving the planet. And I think less are born with this energy, right? Less are born with this energy. Eventually it means that there are only predators around. So they can be fighting each other and so on, eventually destroying everything. And when everything is destroyed, then potentially we can build again, right? But that's kind of, but that's like a future thing, right? I have this feeling of like prey is saying no, or prey is saying who cares? I don't care anymore. And for some, it means that they collapse. Like under the pressure, they may get into hospital or something like that. They become ill. I don't know. Maybe like me, I had this vertigo attack 8 years ago, right? When things become too bad or too little room to breathe, it collapses. No matter how much you've tried to build up an ego to sustain yourself in this world, I also believe that the feminine cores are the ones that numb themselves. You know, like they smoke, they drink, they have all kinds of ways of numbing themselves in this world because the pressure feels very big. Anyway, let's have a look at the cards. Yeah. Okay, I said harvest, gathering of blessings. It's very interesting. It says harvest, right? Which would normally for me be a card of that you can. It's like you have sown a field of crop, and now you can harvest it all, right? You get all this good stuff. But what I feel when I look at this is that she is holding this little crop, you would say, in her hand, and that's it. Like everything else around her is not that, we would say, maybe abundant, right? In our world, we would say that money is important, and maybe status or fame or something is important. But she's holding a little leaf here, or a little she's gathering her blessings. So what she is holding on to is something organic or something natural, something that has to do with the natural world. And then there's this feeling that there is, like, it's empty, right? That there is no, this is the only thing of this kind. There is nothing else here that indicates natural world besides herself and her body, right? It's like she's gathering the blessings, like the blessings that are blessings to her. Again, I feel like if you are feminine at your core, I believe that there are certain things in life that is more of a blessing than others. Having a hectic or a big, you could say this is like the singer, right? The entertainer I just talked about, right? She is in this masculine world, and when she is gathering her blessings, what would that mean for her, right? It would probably not mean the money, the social media, the status. It's about the sparkle in her. It's her life force, right? It's about what started it all. It's the beginning. It's when she was young and she started singing out of joy, or she danced to music when she was 2 years old, right? It was out of joy. It was out of play. It was out of like spontaneity, out of sudden expression, right? It has nothing to do with planning, and it wasn't dictated. It wasn't conscious even. It was before she got conscious about how she looked and her appearance and her body image and so on, right? Before she was designed. What is the blessings? The blessings, the gathering of blessings could be, you could say, this is corn, right? She's holding a corn here, corn crop. The corn crop doesn't care about what it looks like, right? It doesn't care about whether other plants like the way it looks or not. This is a crop. This is a corn crop, and it looks like this, and it acts like this, and it won't change its ways. That's how it looks, right? It's interesting when we look at animals, our pets. We are very much aware that they are pets. We are very much aware that this is a dog, this is a cat, this is a horse, this is whatever. We don't expect the dog or the cat or the horse to be anything else but what they are. But for some reason we expect the little singer or dancer to grow up and become aligned with this very masculine world, become at one with it, and just keep performing in it. It's like the original core is attempted to be changed or directed into something else. We are not expecting that the core of a dog is changed or the core of our cat is changed. It's still a cat. It still acts in a cat-like way. It does cat things or dog things or horse things, right? We can ride a horse. We have changed the wildness of the horse. We have tamed it. This is a kind of taming, right? Taming it into a different environment. So we are putting something original into an environment and taming it in there. So the taming or adaptation to a certain world comes with a sacrifice. The sacrifice of the original spark, the natural little girl who sang out of joy. The spark of this girl, the sparkle or the is being changed. It is very hard on creative souls to be in environments that are very I want to say masculine mainstream music business, for instance. Now she has to sing and dance when the camera is on, or now she has to dance and in a certain way and get her hairstyle and go on a diet to look right for the next music video. That is not spontaneity. That is not out of joy. It's not out of creative, impulsive expression. Now it becomes control. It becomes conscious. Before it may have been more unconscious. It was simply just out of joy. So this one could be standing on the stage, right? Looking in her fine dress with makeup and her hair made in the special way to sing the next song. But what she's thinking of is her childhood garden, right? Or where things were more natural, where it wasn't put in such like a system or a schedule or something like that. Gathering of blessings may mean that she becomes conscious of what harvest actually is to her, right? That maybe peace can be peace around her, like quietness, less people, less spotlight, less fans, wanting to get away, a getaway, wanting to pause, to have a break. And there is something about this gathering. I feel like someone is becoming more aware about what is blessings and what is not blessings in her life, right? Or where perhaps. I just said her childhood garden. Maybe she is longing for a place here. Because when she is going there, grandmother's garden, it is quiet. She doesn't have to perform. She doesn't have to be tamed, She doesn't have to adapt to something that is, it seems like there are no flowers here, right? That there is no organic life. It looks to me a bit like a stage. Like she stands on the stage and the spotlight is on her. Like we can almost see I know this is probably supposed to be a moon, but like a spotlight is on her. And she is standing like a diva singer on a stage, ready to perform. But what she is concentrating on is what she may miss, right? What she may miss in this maybe more artificial world. Because is it real? Like when she performs and sings, what she allows people to do is she is inviting them into her realm, right? Her creative realm, her beautiful singing voice is luring for people into a world for a time being, right? A pause from the masculine pressure. She's allowing them to have a break. But when does she have one? Right? Every time we go to a concert with some kind of performer, what we are doing is that we are leaving our normal life and we are going to this concert, and then it's like we are invited into a space where something special happens that makes us forget or makes us participate in something for a moment. Watching a theater play, right? Or an opera, or just even watching a movie. It's like for a minute, we are invited into another realm, another world, where we may forget a bit about the laundry or our ordinary life, right? So-called reality. Reality is a masculine domain, right? Every time something creative comes in, it's feminine. It's a feminine thing, and we seek to go there. The more feminine you are, I think the more you seek it. You seek the pause, you seek the break, you seek to get away, or you numb yourself or something like that. Because the masculine realm is too squared, right? It's where the feminine realm is more round. it's like the gathering of blessings would be, is it money that she wants? Or is it something else? I get decision card. It says here, release yourself from that which holds you back and need to detox unnecessary worry based on a lack of self-confidence. So here we have a woman holding, or an angel, holding a cave here. But you could open that cave and fly out. If such bird has only lived its life in the cave, how is it supposed to figure out how to deal with life when it comes out? There are predators here now. You know, foxes and cats and other bigger birds perhaps. How will it get fed, find food here, right? There is no answer to that. Maybe these birds will live, maybe they will die. And that's what I talked about. There's a need or a feeling that I'm making this decision anyway. I am flying out of this cave and I don't know where it's going to take me. Maybe maybe I will have threats. But there is a point where to a certain extent people are afraid. But then it's like that frightenedness, that angst, this the potential threats that are there, it's like it becomes different. Like, as I said, with people who are mobilizing forces to create a civil war, or because they know already they are up against like big armory. They know they are up against Big Brother, right? The emperor, right? They know that they are small. They know that they probably don't have much of a chance, but they're doing it anyway, right? They're sabotaging something. Like during the Second World War, then you have these undercover groups that are sabotaging something because, well, we are dead anyway, or our space of movement is limited anyway. Like the singer, right? She's now owned by the music industry. She doesn't have a life. I get Marilyn Monroe here also. Like, she was owned by the film industry, right? She didn't really have a choice. There's something to be learned, right? Something about we can push a certain energy to a point with threats of death and different kinds of threats. But then when it reaches a certain point, the threats won't work anymore. The threats are hollow in the sense that I have nothing to lose. Like if Marilyn Monroe wanted out, what was she supposed to do, right? If I don't know, any kind of famous singer, if they want out in time before they, lose themselves, before they lose the spark, the original core that was the reason why they started singing in the first place, why they wanted to be and they sang out of joy. If someone wants to leave in time, they may have made money, they may have made, but and they may have they may be famous, they may have a big following on social media and so on. But if they stop the career, it's like everybody don't get it, right? They don't understand. Why are you not? We love you. We want more of you, right? We want you to keep doing this. They are requesting and asking and asking and asking for more. But who is preserving her? Who is protecting her? Who is watering her? Like again, she's in an environment that is not offering her any kind of sustenance, anything that is her world. It's a masculine world. How can she preserve herself if she is only presented with more and more masculine requirements, more and more hunger or demands? Who is watering her? Who is making sure that she can be true to herself, keep her glow, keep her intact? Like the earth, who is making sure that the globe that we live off and from is kept intact if we just want more and more and more and more? This is, I think again, this has a time when all is eaten, when all is devoured, when all is taken, when there is no living plant left on earth. Everything probably dies, or some kind of machinery or aircraft or spacecraft will make the last ones leave the planet, because there's nothing left. And then the planet can restart itself, if possible. There's something to be learned about responsibilities, but also the inner drives, right? Something about what drives us. Because we want to win in a competition or own everything, doesn't mean that it's going to be that blessing. Like it doesn't mean that it will be that great. It doesn't mean that, because eventually you are losing the life force. You're losing the talent. The talent is killed or lost, right? So now what? All the things you have invested in, all the plans you had and everything, gone. Right? And now you have to find another one, right? But eventually I think that potentially more and more of these young singers, I think that just me saying that, I think there will be less. I don't think we will find or they won't stay as long. Like it's like that. This can, and again, I feel like I'm also speaking about like the prey or the so-called not so strong energy on earth, not so powerful energy on earth, which is commonly known as the feminine. I think that if she chooses not to fight, She chooses herself and therefore may walk away from a certain realm here. So where she may have entertained others, been available, she may gather her blessings in grandmother's garden. She prefers to stay there than on the scene. It's that feeling that I have, this feeling of like a and again, take it how it resonates. If you in your family have been the one who always was ready to help, or who was always ready to be the, I don't know, who was always available for some reason. Maybe you are less available now. Because when the environment you are in is so, like again, there are no flowers here, right? What is supposed to be her inspiration here? What is supposed to nurture her? There's nothing here that inspires a creative soul, feminine soul. She has to remind herself of what her blessings are. Remember them, right? Maybe she grew up in a home where singing and dancing and playing music was normal. And now she may be in an environment where there is no such thing going on. She's expected to still sing and dance and make music, but there's nothing here that gives her inspiration. There's nothing that nurtures or feeds her soul. And that's the blessings that she may be reminded of. What are my blessings? Where can I harvest? Where can I actually feel that I get abundance, right? What is abundance even for me? Maybe it is the fame. Maybe it is the status. Maybe someone is on the verge of going there, signing the contract, becoming part of this environment here. Again, Scorpio is Scorpio can be a bit. It's difficult. Like it, as I said, it's like walking in the woods in the forest. You never really know what you're dealing with. It can go either way. There could be great prospects, but also hidden trouble, right? Or with fame, status, comes a big masculine industry. And are you prepared for that? Like, are you prepared to, or when you fly out, when you want to free yourself, you want to fly out of the cave here. The cave could be like the music industry, right? That she may be in this music industry and she wants to get out. She wants to go to grandma's garden, right? She wants to be in the natural world. She wants to feel the grass again. She wants to breathe the fresh air, whatever this is. She wants to free herself. But when you free yourself, you're also saying goodbye to something, right? When you leave the music scene, break the contract, you will be disqualified, right? You will be, maybe lawyers will come after you and so on, right? There is, when you say yes to something and no to something else, there could be repercussions, right? When you fly out of the cave into the wilderness here, or the free realm, the free natural realm, which can be a bit unknown if you almost grew up in an environment like this. You don't really know what, you just know you want out, you know it's draining you or you're withering here. And you want out, great, you fly away. But now you are in a totally different realm, you're a novice now, right? You don't know much about this place. Like as I said, people who have grown up in cities, normal Western cities, or, you know, at least with society and civilization and everything, and rules and regulation and school and things like that, that's what you know. If you want suddenly to, move into a very urban area, you want to build a tiny house there, you have no clue about it. You don't know about how to live like that. You have to learn, right? So if you want something here, if you believe you will be happier here, maybe you need to study, right? Maybe you need to, like if I want, the decision I feel like is made. As I said, it's like the prey doesn't care anymore. I'm going, no matter what's going to happen. I have made my choice. I may fall, you know, I may hurt myself. I may, it may go all wrong, right? But I'm going anyway. Like, no matter what happens, I am flying out of this cave. I am flying, and no matter what happens, I will do this, right? I will do this. No matter what other people are saying, or I may be warned, or there is no security net or no family support or something. I'm doing it anyway. That's what I feel like with, like, the prey says no, right? The prey is no longer afraid. The prey, or the weaker one, or the more vulnerable one, is saying, I don't care anymore. I'm doing it anyway. The one that normally could be suppressed, the one that normally would give in, the one that normally was designable, right, is now saying no. That's what I feel like. There's this, like a Scorpio moon here, is something is stirring, right? I don't know, sabotage, but she's definitely considering something, this one. She may still be singing, but something is growing, right? An urge, an attempt is growing to leave, like to leave the, I don't know, the home maybe. So let's, I feel like let's have a look at the next card. So I get 7 of Pentacles. Well, here it's almost like grandmother's garden, right? It's 7 of Pentacles is usually something about putting in your seeds, waiting for them to grow, waiting for them to become the harvest, right? But today it comes across, even if we look at the clothing, right? It looks a bit like an old picture, like from how people lived once. Like the organic. Look at the flowers, right? All the flowers and the organic growth of crop or plant or fruits or something. The cows in the background, where you milk them, you get the milk from the cow directly. It's again, I get this like off-grid, organic, tidy house, growing your own crops kind of feeling to it. Back to the natural world, not so busy. There's no pollution. There's no, the old-fashioned way of life when things were more simple, harder perhaps, like tougher on like physical work, but it was less noisy, less. I get grandmother's garden, like, and that's it's like she has something here that is like a memory, right? She's reminded about something, and now she stands in the world that looks like this, right? It may be glamorous and I don't know, fashionable or something, but there's something about this life that doesn't feel right, or that is slowly but surely, draining her or withering her. This looks a little bit like grandmother, right? The grandmother who, I don't know, 100 years ago or more, right? Maybe they had, like, I don't know, do you have like family who lived like this, who had their own fruit tree, garden, or who grew everything themselves, very organic, very direct, very earthy, very. There's something about grounding also here, something about earth, like feeling the dirt under your having dirt under your nails, right? It's like roots of something, like you smell it, right? You smell it's like this corn, maybe something that she got from the supermarket, but there's no smell to it, right? There's no. And the tastiness, like that, there's nothing like a ripe tomato, right? From a very a country with great sun, right? We can grow tomatoes here in Denmark, but they don't taste the same as in Italy, for instance. They don't have the same size. They're smaller, there's something about and of course this will not be for all of you, right? Like this scenario will not be for all of you, but maybe you're witnessing someone in your family may have these thoughts, or they're talking about some of this, that they are longing back to when they could just play in the garden around grandmother, right? Or when they helped her pick the apples or something like that. That life, that connection, that life was more of a blessing. Like it was, it felt more honest or more authentic, maybe. There's something about like the protection, like the protection from the black tourmalines here, strong protective stones, and then wanting to protect something inside, you know, like the core or something. You want to protect something that is vital to your well-being, vital to your identity, maybe. Something that is your flame or your hearth fire. I talked about that with the Taurus new moon, also something about hearth fire. Maybe you are witnessing someone who is going through some kind of it's like she's I get something about like making inventory, right? It's something like she's really thinking about pros and cons of being part of something, and and cons of not being part of it, right? Because she doesn't look, you know, maybe, I don't know, is she poor, or she's not very fashionable. It looks like old-fashioned farmer clothes or something like that. It's not like a high society fashionable diva style. There's something about again, as I said, that there is when you make a decision, it comes with a yes to something and a no to something else. So giving up the fashionable, let's say, New Yorker life, to go to the countryside, to grandmother's garden, and living off the crop. But it will probably not be a rich, like a money-wise, a rich life. It will maybe be what others may regard as a poor life. But I think for her here, it's a more abundant life. It's a more authentic life. Maybe a happier life or a more peaceful life. But it seems like it's poorer, right? Like from a masculine matrix standpoint, it looks like a poorer choice. Like living in the past or something. Like this doesn't look like progress, right? It doesn't look like evolution. It looks like going backwards. But I think it has to do with her core here. Like it has to do with like the core of something that needs to be nurtured. There is, as I said, it's like you can only stretch it so far. Like the original flame of the singer, right? Or entertainer. if this is not nurtured, it will shrink into almost nothing. Like that, there is something about, like, I feel like buying your groceries at the supermarket and then, taking it out of the plastic and smell it, and there's no real smell to it, or no. It's kind of too clinical or too clean almost. That something is missing, right? Something. Yes, something about the senses. It's like here it's almost like she's in a vacuum, right? Where she can't. There's nothing. Again, it's not feeding her. It's. She needs to get her senses inspired and yeah, there's something about flowing, or like almost like swimming in the pollen, swimming in the smells, like floating in it. Being surrounded by it, right? Being surrounded by something so organic and alive, and the vibration is different than here. It's a different energetic imprint. It's almost like being surrounded by family. Something that is like her, right? Something that is originally like her. But because she went to the big city to get her into education, or she went to the big city to become this diva singer or this fashion model, that this is all like maybe good and fine, and maybe she's popular, maybe she earns a lot of money, but it's empty, right? It's empty here. There's nothing that. It's like she's surrounded by emptiness, where here you're surrounded by humming bees and like sprouting new plants, and the cows, and fresh air, and feels like someone feels trapped, or in the cave here. This is grandmother's garden, right? This is where you can watch the deers in the morning, right? Before the busy life starts, and they return to the forest. You can watch the little rabbits. You can grow everything. Yeah, I have a feeling of something artificial here, like what I'm doing here is not real. This is real, right? This is something I can eat, these apples or pears or whatever this is, peaches, right? I can eat it. I can smell these flowers. I can actually touch them. I can walk in the grass barefoot, right? I can. Again, I'm not dependent on you know, like an industry. I'm not dependent on now I get something like, it's almost like as far back as when you didn't pay rent, like you just lived off the land. And she is probably a modern person, right? She lives in the city, she has this beautiful clothes on, she has her hair, you know, she goes to the hairdresser, she has makeup on, she has jewelry. She lives in a clean world, probably, in an apartment. But she could be in her apartment and feeling so lonely, right? This is like, as I said, like a off-grid living, almost like someone who can sustain themselves by what they can pick from the trees in the forest or in the area where they live. They're not dependent on big corporate like supermarkets or but again, if you live like this, you will not have the same amount to choose from, right? You will not have. There will maybe only be apples. You cannot also choose pears and banana and like grapes or something. You may need to eat what's there. You may need to, you know, you can't get roses if these are the flowers. So there's a limitation maybe to this kind of life. But at the same time, it's maybe a more freer life. Being more off-grid or not dependent on different kinds of corporate supply chains and commercial food production and so on. It's almost like she has like she has a regret. She regrets a choice, I feel like. She regrets a choice to be here. And she prefers to fly out again here, even though she doesn't know what it means. She's almost forgotten. She is not grandmother, right? She just played in the garden. She doesn't know how to live in this way, or she doesn't know whether she can adapt to that kind of life. But I feel like she's going anyway. Like as I said, it's like this. You can only stretch it so far, and then it's like the decision is made. And no matter whether I will be successful or not, I'm going, right? I'm going in the sense that you may be planning And maybe you haven't left yet, but you may be planning, right? You may be studying, as I said. Maybe you want to build your own tiny house. You have to study, maybe, or you have to get in touch with that kind of community, maybe. Maybe there's something else you want to, but it definitely has to do with this kind of experience. Maybe you want to be a farmer. Maybe you want to have animals, right? Like cows or horses, or it's like someone who really wants to resettle, right? Like really from one specific environment into something else, and it's a big shift. It's a big shift, and there could be the feeling of being a total novice, not knowing enough about it, haven't tried it, or it's so long ago that you barely remember grandmother's garden here, right? You barely remember. Maybe it's almost like living the way they did, right? Living like they did. Peaceful in the countryside, away from, and again, not being dependent. I feel like not being dependent on not being dependent on a certain life, because this life keeps asking for more. Like a woman, like it will keep asking for more. When she becomes older, it will still keep asking her to look beautiful. It will keep asking her to color her hair and be slim and sporty and everything, even though she's aging, right? This environment is going to asking for her productivity, her stardom, if she is an entertainer, right? She has to look great, she has to be perfect. Where here she's, you can see she has totally different clothes. She even has a hair, it's covering her hair here. And there is no demand here for her being fashionable and slim and you know, a model. That's not how this life is. And again, the cows don't mind, right? The cows don't mind what you look like. Your cat don't mind what you look like. Your dog doesn't mind what you look like, right? But in another world, there's a lot of eyes on appearance and behavior and looks and age and attractiveness and so on. Performance. And I have that feeling, it's like she has come to this point where I'm not afraid anymore, even though I may be losing whatever I have, and even if I don't know, I change appearance, even if I get to look like this, I still want to go, right? I still want to explore this. And there could be this feeling of like a decision needs to be made. Do you want to stay or do you want to shift in some way. That a decision is due, right? It's time to make that decision. It's time to figure this out, or to go study more, or to... It's like something has reached a point where it has become too, I don't know, artificial or something. Or as I said, too masculine. It's like there's something is missing, something organic, or something living, maybe. The smell of a garden, the sunshine, the birds chatting, singing, the fresh air, the outside, like the living outside, or being outside, outdoors, instead of maybe in a music studio here, or in an empty apartment, or a lonely place. I think there is a stretch to the body. It has been discovered that some electric cars actually, for some people, if they are driving these electric cars, the electricity influences the body in a very disturbing way. So they can become dizzy and ill driving the electric cars. And I think this is like a limit to certain bodies. You can stretch it so far, but when you stretch it further, now it becomes a threat almost, right, to comfortable life, or to there's a certain stretch to where maybe you could say our bodies feel okay. I think there is some knowledge also about astronauts, if they get, and of course they have been training to go into space and everything, but when they get away from Earth, a certain amount of distance away from Earth, then something happens in the bodies, right? It becomes like they are drowning, or they are, it feels like they are too far away from, like a hearth fire or something. It's like it's too foreign out there, and too little of where we come from. It's like we can stretch ourselves to a certain point, and then we can no longer. That's what I feel like. It's that kind of reading that I have here, that feeling. I've tried to tap into the energies for the last few days to see what I kind of get here. And this will of course not be for all, right? But maybe you're witnessing someone who is, you can just feel it, that there's something bothering them, right? There's something that drains them, something that is some people are affected by the internet 5G grid around the earth. It feels like it's influencing their well-being, right? Some are influenced by toxins, pollution, and so on. adjectives in food production and things like that. Allergies are maybe more allergies, things are coming in our bodies. It's showing itself. And we can stretch the body to a certain point, and then we just can't anymore. This is what I have for this full moon. Well, there will be a full moon again next year, right, around this time, but where other things may come up, right? But again, this idea about the unknown, the dark forest, it's like venturing into a dark forest. You're not sure what's going to happen. You have no idea. You just have to trust that you're walking in some kind of right decision. And you may not have the answers, you may not have the knowledge, you may not know, you may not have any idea how to make this work. And you're just wandering into this dark forest, right? You are flying out of the cave here, and you have never been outside before. And now you're supposed to figure out where to fly and where to get yourself to a better place, right? And that feeling. Yeah, so this is what I have. We could get an advice card maybe on this. An advice card. So I get the witness card. This is always a very interesting card because the witness is like what I feel like an internal voice. It's something that is inside you that has been witnessing what has been going on all the time, but it hasn't said anything. And now it starts speaking. Like now it starts. It has seen enough, right? It has seen enough, it has witnessed all decisions, all choices. I feel like, as an advice here, I feel like it's like you should ask the witness. You should consult the witness. Because there's something here that makes you feel lonely, or there's something that is, even though you should feel great here perhaps, maybe you have a big harvest, you earn a lot of money, you should feel great. Why don't you feel great? You look at the memory, whatever the memory is here. Something is reminding you of grandmother's garden here, right? And suddenly it's like everything else around you looks hollow or artificial. You should ask the witness. The witness inside, I feel like this is a core thing in us. Something we can't run from. It's part of our... I think it has to do with our bodies. The bodies come from a long line of evolutionary steps, and decisions have been made along the way. We have adapted to a certain kind of life, from being Neanderthals and Homo erectus and so on. We have made decisions along the way where we have adapted to certain lifestyles to survive and so on. Along the way, something has been done that may not be the best. She knows, right? She's been the witness. She knows everything. She's not. Yes, he has not been saying anything, but she knows, right? She knows. It's like, if you look a bit closer here, it's like she has antlers, right? It's like she's like this animal inside us, or a part that belongs to nature, right? Where the evolutionary thing that we come from a very big line of evolutionary progress or changes. And I feel like this one is this, like, this is the hearth fire, right? This is the witness that is your life force energy, that is talking to you. If you don't feel happy here, it's because she starts to talk here. She's meddling now. She's no longer silent. She's meddling with your feeling of, once this may have made you feel great and successful and everything, and now it's like she's stirring something here. There's something she wants to make you see. Maybe there is a witness, like maybe there is literally a brother or sister or someone who is keeping an eye on you. But normally with these cards and this deck, the witness is, it could be almost like an inner child, right? That is witnessing what you have been doing with yourself in your life, the changes you've made, right? But she is like a nature child. Like she's like when we lived in cages, and like she comes from this world, right? She's from the hunter-gatherer times. She is the, like, as I said, it's like before, like when we just lived off the land. There was no mortgage and there was no rent. There was nothing like that. No, this is before the earth was owned. Before earth was owned. Again, maybe a bit arrogant to believe that you can like own earth, right? But still, that is how, like most societies, that's how they work. That land is owned, and we have to buy it and pay rent and all kinds of costs and things to live on it. But once we did not, right? Once we were like all other animals, we lived off the land. There was no such thing as ownership and all these kind of systems and regulations and laws, and once it was just like we were there like any other animal. And that part of you has been witnessing everything here. And I have this feeling of it stirs, right? That there's something, it's stirring. Yeah. This is what I have. Of course you can ignore this one, right? You can try to ignore it. But I have the feeling that again there is only so far you can stretch yourself. And then it starts to drain on you. Even though on paper it looks great. A great job, a great income, a house with a white picket fence, a great marriage, 2.5 children, everything looks great by the book. But then something is stirring at you, right? And you have never felt more lonely, perhaps. Or drained, or like it was supposed to make you feel so great. It was supposed to fill you up with joy, right? But actually it has never been more lonely. Or maybe even it has never felt more like draining. And it's because there's something else that is, it's this thing about being stretched too far. When you're stretched too far, it's like, I can't, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm making this jump, right? I'm making this decision anyway, and I'm not sure where I'm going. And that's why it's so dark here, right? That's why it's so, it's like walking into this dark forest. You have no idea how to make this work, but you're doing it anyway. Mentally, physically, socially, everything like that, right? Cutting off social media, moving into the countryside, I don't know, something like that. It's and I have this feeling that this is not new, like it has been there before. It has talked to you before, but you may have ignored it. Right? You may have ignored it, not listening, because it's easier to stay, right? If you could just convince yourself that you would be happy here, right? Then everything would be easier. Because this you know, like this life you know, this is all you know. It would be easier to just, if you could just convince yourself to be happy here, but you can't, right? It's like, there is a certain amount of wild nature in her. And she cannot be put in a box like that. Like she cannot be put in a box and be happy. I don't think like if you take a bird that is supposed to be a wild bird and put it into a cave, can we really believe that it's going to be happy here? Yeah, maybe it's fed, like, maybe it's fed, maybe it's given water, maybe it's given food, but is it happy? Does it sing? I don't know. Well, this is what I have. I hope this helped. Take care of yourself, everybody out there. During this full moon, again, Scorpio can be It's deep water, so it can be something that like really stirs some very deep emotions. So just breathe through this one and see what it wants to reveal for you, right? Take care of yourself, everybody. Love and light to all of you. Bye-bye.